is for Masito's Bangup Rock on TVK. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. We'll see you soon. Brethren of the Longhouse.
ニューヨークのスタジオでニューアルバム「ブレズレン・オブ・ザ・ロング」どうぞ。
Okay, since we got back from Japan the last time, we've been working on the record, trying to get it done. We had a lot of mishaps, a lot of illnesses, and you know, so we've been set back about a month or so. But we're almost pretty much at the mixing stage now. We have one song mixed already, actually, so it should be done very soon. And that's pretty much what we've been doing. Completing, you know, we had to write a lot of material when we came back. We didn't have a lot of the material. So we had to write most of the record and rehearse it and record it and whatnot. So it's been a lot of work. Oh, God.
Yeah, arranging. In rehearsal, we just got together and Mark would come up with an idea and he was loose with it. He would say, just come up with a good part. As long as it fits, it's fine with me. And that's easy to work with somebody like that. Because in the past, I had to work with a lot of different kind of people, and a lot were very strict in saying, you have to do this, I have to do this. But it was a really easy album to record. It was fun.
Yeah, the thing is that what I tried to do with this, taking the opportunity that John was a local, he lives 5 minutes from me. So taking the advantage of being able to pursue this more as a band unit, whereas before, we used to have to do things. We had Bobby and Pete living in Texas. So the initial stages of recording was always like sending ideas back and forth on cassette tapes, you know, and until the actual recording stage, you know, we didn't really work the stuff out together. It was like, you know, we'd write the music, or me and Mike, or whoever it was at the time, would write the music, send them ideas on tape, or get a drum machine and do rough ideas of what was happening, and they'd work out parts. It was very mechanical. Whereas this time I approached it where we went into the studio, like he said, I had an idea or something, I'd start jamming, and he'd start playing, and we'd just hash it out that way like a band, so.
It sounds like a band. It comes off like a band. Well, I started playing at like age 9. And I went to PIT, music school in California, and after that I went touring with a guy named Paul Hansen in Europe, and I went playing. And I just play, man. I do studio work, and I played with TNT for a while, and Column Ed. And then after TNT, I did a couple of CDs, and Mark called me up. No, actually, Mike Flint's called me up, and he said, we need a drummer.
You want to do a tour?
And I got a good story here. He said, we need a drummer to do this Japanese tour. And I said, oh, I'd love to do it. He goes, I'm going to put you in touch with my singer, Mike. Mike will call you. So he gives me Mike. So Mike calls me up, and all of a sudden I hear this Long Island voice. You into this thing or what? You want to do the tour? And I said, yeah, I'll do the tour. And we have a good time. And I did the tour. We have a good time. That's my history.
No, what happened was we all kind of simultaneously saw this movie, Last of the Mohegans. This is the most recent version of the film. It's a version of the James Fenimore Cooper novel. And it was weird because I immediately was attracted to the music, only because the music was very kind of minor key, real Celtic, European minor keys, real sorrowful kind of sound, which is what a lot of our music, melody-wise, sounds like. So I toyed with the idea of doing something with that music, maybe in the guitar solo or whatever. And then I got a phone call from Mike one day, and he says, hey, did you hear did you ever check that movie out, Last of the Mohegans, and the music and the soundtrack? The music's great. So it was kind of weird. And then Steve Loeb, the executive producer, called me up and said, did you ever see the movie? And it was kind of like, something weird was happening, and it seemed like that, yeah, there was definitely something to this. So we decided to adapt the title track of the movie, and we did our own, you know, a working of it. We transcribed it from the soundtrack and did our own strings and the whole bit, and recorded everything. And the band played with the string section in the whole bit, and it just came out so good that we just were inspired lyrically to base this, not so much make a concept record, but to have a theme running through it. So all the songs are pretty much, you know, Mike pretty much went into the archives and got all the information on the French and Indian War, which is basically what it's based around. And so all the lyrics came into that subject. They're all actual historical events.
映画、ラストモヒカンズ、僕もねつい最近見たばかりの映画なんですけどね、結局その歌詞も、戦いとかあるいはなんで戦わなければいけないのかとかそういう心情がこう描かれていて非常にドラマチックなアルバムに仕上がってるんですけど、さてそのニューヨークのライオットのインタビューパート2、こちらのインタビューを見てください。
Brother Another Longhouse. That was what the Europeans called the Iroquois Confederacy. The Brother Another Longhouse.
Now, the Iroquois are like 6 tribes that,
Yeah, the 6 nations.
which is actually around this
In
area,
this area.
of the United States, and that's what they call themselves, the Brethren, because they lived in these long houses and kind of structures that they built.
It was an incredible story because the Confederacy, it's like our Constitution. That's what some people say our Constitution is molded after.
You know, when you see the eagle holding the arrows all together, it was like they had strength and unity, and they lasted like that for many years until the French and the English that came here kind of pulled them, eventually got them to war with one another and kind of pulled them apart. That was the whole thing with that.
Yeah, I designed the album cover and the inside I'm designing right now. And we're trying to get a lot of photographs in there too. Like past Riot albums I
We've
heard
got many complaints.
didn't have a lot of photographs, so I'm designing the inside, so I'm going to put a lot of photographs. But in the album cover, for those who see it, it was inspired by a song called Santa Maria, which is like a ballad, kind of a ballad, like a Latin-y style ballad on it.
It's going to be very, very different from what they
Yeah, it's very different than anything you've heard a rock band do. But the lyrics to that song, when I was about to cut the track, I listened to the lyrics, and this is before the album cover was made, and I was really inspired by it. I said, this is great. So me and Mark talked and said, why don't we make a cover to come up something like the lyrics, you know, to be inspired by the lyrics. Am I babbling? Anyway, what I did was take the words from Santa Maria and then just try to make a cover that fits. You know, that.
Yeah, it was about because basically when you see the cover, it's got like, you know, it's just, the song's basically about like an Indian clairvoyant, you know, and he's kind of, the Santa Maria was the name of one of the ships that Christopher Columbus sailed over here, and basically the Indian is kind of like foreseeing these European people coming to this continent before it happens.
It's really prophetic, the cover.
You know, and so he's kind of sitting there and he's looking into the clouds and he's like visualizing.
Having like
ships.
a prophecy of the coming of the Europeans, how it's going to change their lives.
So on the back cover, I did the opposite. I made the Europeans leaving home and heading towards the New World, which would be America. And there's some skeletons in the clouds if you look closely. And what it's symbolizing is fear. The Europeans don't know what they're heading to. Like they used to think the world was flat in those days and they'd head off the end of the world. So the back cover is more like it could mean fear that they're heading to, or it could mean death that they're heading to, because everybody was destroyed when they got to the New World. So it's and then there's a lot of little things on the inside, a lot to do with the album cover too, a lot of little secret things that you'll see. So you got to really look.
want to do more extensive because there's a lot of places that John did with TNT that we want to go, you know, and play because we know we have a lot of fans.
Yeah, we have a lot of fans in
Yokohama,
Hiroshima.
Sendai.
That some friends came to see us from Hiroshima and said we have many fans there. And we'd like to play near or come to.
And also too is that the fact that, like I said before, John lives near me and near us. You know, it's more like a local thing now where we can play more often. And you know, this last tour we did, we really had to, you know, we just because Bobby he decided not to do it in the last minute, and luckily we got John in, and we kind of really had to rush to throw everything in there. So now we'll be, you know, looking forward to it more so.
Yeah, we could rehearse for a while and get ready. And, you know, we plan to do more touring before we go to Japan, or maybe hit Europe.
Yeah, we're really trying to get that. That's a definite thing that we have to do. I mean, we've had a lot of problems with trying to get there in the past, you know, going into it, but it's just, you know, some bad luck. I mean, just had problems with it, but there's something we need to do. You know, I think that's the whole catalyst to our future, really. Right
Since
now.
the band's more local now, we can do. It'll be a lot easier to get together and plan this whole thing.
ドラムのジョンは、TNT のドラマーとして日本に来たことがありますよね。今ニューヨークに住んでいます。Blood Street by Riot.